Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping straight into some really intense, sometimes pretty raw family and relationship dynamics.
Yeah, the material we're digging into, it's from those Jerry Springer flashback clips you shared. Some truly, well, surprising and chaotic situations in there.
Exactly. We've sort of pulled out the key moments, the things people actually said, the dynamics they described right there in the clips.
Mm-hmm. And the idea is to help you unpack, the conflicts, the motivations, maybe understand a bit about the emotional weight of what's going on in the source material.
Think of it like we're walking through some pretty fascinating human drama that was captured back then,
Yeah.
just pulling out what really jumps out.
And there's a lot that jumps out. The situations described are, well, they're distinct, they're definitely complex, and sometimes, yeah, pretty wild.
They definitely don't shy away from the conflict, that's for sure.
Not at all. We've got several really intense scenarios lined up from these clips.
Okay, so let's dive into the first one we pulled. We meet this guy, Ron. He's married to Audrey, but right off the bat, there's a complication.
A big one. Audrey is also his first cousin.
Yeah. And then almost immediately, the clip introduces another huge piece. Ron's also involved with another woman, Stacy.
And he has 3 kids with Stacy, not with Audrey, his wife.
So Ron's position, what he actually says in the clip, it's something else. He claims he loves both women, wants to be with both.
Right, but then he kind of adds this qualifier, He admits maybe he doesn't love either one enough, which is interesting.
Very. And what really comes through loud and clear in the clip is the pain the women are in. You see Stacy, and she's described as, like, trembling, crying.
Yeah, because Ron has these children with her, but he keeps going back to Audrey, his wife.
And Audrey, she's obviously hurting too. The clip says she's almost crying because, she's married to him. She's got the ring.
But he's sleeping with Stacy, raising a family with Stacy. It's this constant back and forth thing he's doing.
Yeah, this divided life seems to be just causing agony for both of them.
And the clip brings in another voice, Audrey's sister, Jackie, who is also Ron's cousin-in-law, just to add another layer.
And Jackie, she doesn't mince words, does she?
No way. She goes right at Ron, tells him he doesn't love either of them, and then tells Audrey, flat out, you never should have married your cousin.
So that cousin marriage thing, it's definitely bubbling under the surface. We hear Audrey trying to normalize it, saying, like, a lot of people do it. It's not unusual.
While Stacy calls it disgusting, so that's another point of conflict just between the two women, even aside from Ron.
And the clip makes a point about, like, the symbols of commitment. Audrey has the wedding ring. Stacy doesn't.
But Ron says he loved Stacy after marrying Audrey. So it wasn't like something from before. It happened after the commitment to Audrey.
Which probably makes the betrayal feel even deeper for Audrey, you'd think.
You would imagine. And the clips show some really heated moments between Audrey and Stacy directly, like face-to-face arguments.
Yeah, challenging each other. Who's he really with? Stacy says he was living with her until just recently.
And Audrey fires back that Stacy just follows him around. It's just raw, competing claims, fueled by what Ron's doing.
Which leads to maybe the most jaw-dropping moment from Ron in the clip. His big idea. His proposal.
Oh, yeah. He actually suggests that all 3 of them, him, Audrey, and Stacy, could just live together.
In Audrey's house.
In Audrey's house. It's unbelievable.
And the reactions. Pretty much what you'd expect. Audrey and the host are like, this is crazy, this is disgusting.
But Ron, he just stands there, says he's happy. He actually says he's the happiest person on earth.
Because he has 2 women that I love and 3 damn children. It's such a disconnect from the pain you see in the women. What does happy even mean there?
That's the question, isn't it? And Stacy throws out there that Ron only stays with her because of the kids.
Right. And Ron's response is interesting. He says, yeah, he loves his kids, wants to be with them, but then clarifies again he wants to be with both women.
So the kids become almost part of his justification for this whole setup he wants.
So stepping back from this first scenario in the clips, wow. The core seems to be Ron's, refusal, inability to make a choice.
Yeah, and the absolute misery that causes for the women involved. The cousin thing adds a layer, sure, but the engine driving this conflict seems to be his determination to live this double life.
It's pretty striking how one person trying to have it all can just create so much suffering.
Yeah.
It makes you really question that idea of loving 2 people when it looks like this.
Absolutely. Okay, so shifting gears, the second set of situations from the clips, this focuses on siblings. And it gets incredibly complicated fast.
Yeah, it does. First, we meet Heather, 16, pregnant, and David, also 16. And the clip reveals pretty quickly their biological brother and sister.
Whoa, okay, and the clip gives context, right? They didn't grow up together.
No, grew up separately. Only met the year before, like in March.
Yeah.
Then Heather moved in with David's family.
Which is, let me get this straight, David's mom, Marion, who becomes Heather's stepmom, and Heather's biological dad, who is also David's stepdad.
Exactly, a newly blended family situation.
Okay. And the dynamic described in the clip is, well, it's shocking. Heather and David apparently slept together for 3 months. Dated.
And then she decided she didn't like him anymore. But now she's pregnant.
Hmm.
Says she doesn't love him now.
While David, he's still claiming he loves her, won't leave her alone.
Yep, that's the setup described.
Wow. And Heather's view on this, it's pretty startling too, isn't it?
It is. The clip has her saying she thinks it's okay for a brother and sister to sleep together.
If they weren't raised together and just met as teenagers, that's her justification.
Which, predictably, is not how Marion, the mom, sees it.
No. Marion, Heather's stepmom and David's biological mom, is strongly against it in the clip. Calls Heather names, blames her entirely.
So she came into their home, destroyed the family. She even pushes back on Heather's reasons, like denying David came to Heather with mother problems.
Okay, so intense conflict there already. But then the clip adds another layer.
Oh, yeah. Heather is now in a relationship with George.
Who is David's adopted older brother.
Right. So just to be super clear from the clip, George and Heather are not blood relatives. They are step-siblings through marriage and adopted siblings within that same family unit now.
Okay, but they're together as a couple.
Yes. And this naturally causes even more conflict. George tells David, his adopted brother, basically, get over it. Heather and I are together.
Which leads to huge arguments. David, George, Marion, all yelling.
And there's this really dramatic moment in the clip where George gives Marion an ultimatum, a huge one.
Yeah, he tells her, if you don't accept me and Heather, you'll lose me as a son.
And Marion actually admits she hadn't kicked Heather out earlier specifically because she was scared of losing George.
So George doubles down, says if Heather goes, he goes too. It puts Marion in this absolutely impossible position.
And amidst all this, there are accusations flying. Marion questions if the baby's even David's.
Suggests Heather might have been pregnant before. But Heather insists she had tests. David knows it's his.
And George, for his part, seems really invested in Heather. Says she treats him like no one else has, makes him feel good about himself. So there's this deep emotional connection described, despite the chaos.
And they mention the legality too, right? George and Heather say they checked.
Yeah, that it's legal for adopted siblings to marry. Which shows they're aware it's, unconventional, but they're looking for that legal okay.
So the takeaway from these sibling clips, it's just layers upon layers. First, the biological sibling relationship and pregnancy. Then this adopted sibling relationship in the same fractured family.
Yeah, it forces you to look at really different ideas about what family means, what boundaries are acceptable, incest, all playing out with intense fights, ultimatums, and the extra complexities of adoption and blended families.
It's a lot. Really makes you think about definitions of family, that's for sure.
Okay, let's tackle the third main scenario from the clips. This one involves an uncle, his wife, and their niece.
Right. So Mary is married to Scott, married 8 years. But Scott's also having an affair with Mary's niece, Angel.
And has been for about 2 years, and they have a child together.
Wow. Okay. So Mary's position in the clip is, well, pretty clear.
Very clear. She wants Angel gone, out of her life, out of her marriage. The clip includes her calling Angel names, trampy niece, slut, home wrecker.
Understandable anger, and Scott's justification or his perspective as shown in the clip.
It's pretty crude, honestly. He says he only went to Angel because she's an easy lay that it's sex.
Classy.
Right. And he also tries to deflect, claiming Mary started seeing some other guy, Gabe, first, implying, she started it.
The blame game. And Angel, what's her side in the clip?
She pushes back, says she's not a homewrecker, claims Mary and Scott were already broken up when she got involved with him.
Okay, so conflicting timelines there.
And she makes this really personal dig, too, saying she gave Scott a baby that Mary couldn't. Ouch.
Yeah, that's brutal. And the clip shows them going at it, Mary and Angel.
Oh, yeah. Lots of name-calling, kettlebells, slut, Angel saying Mary lays around with her legs wide open. Just really aggressive personal attacks.
And Angel's friend gets involved, too. Teresa.
Yes, Teresa comes in with a pretty serious accusation. Claims Scott tried to get Angel pregnant on purpose by throwing away her birth control.
Whoa, that adds a whole other dimension if it's true. Manipulation.
And Mary also accuses Angel of, bragging about the affair, claims Angel even has a T-shirt about sleeping with Scott, which just seems designed to provoke.
So, total mess. But then the clip shows some kind of attempt to fix things.
Sort of. Scott states he just wants to be with his wife, Mary. And both he and Mary claim they've actually been faithful to each other for the last 3 months before the show.
Huh, after all that, trying to reconcile.
That's what they claim in the clip. So, looking at this last one, the core seems to be this uncle-niece affair, the baby complicating everything massively.
Yeah, and the cycle of accusations. She cheated first, no, he did. She's a homewrecker, no, they were split up. And then this attempt to somehow patch up the marriage despite everything.
Especially with the child from the affair now being a permanent link between Scott and Angel. That makes any clean break or simple fix seem, well, pretty unlikely.
It really highlights the challenge of rebuilding trust after such deep betrayals, especially ones involving family and, that incredibly personal attack about the baby. How realistic is reconciliation then?
Wow. Okay, so reflecting on all these clips,
Mm.
it's just a whirlwind of painful, chaotic, definitely unconventional human relationships.
They really do put a spotlight on the extremes, don't they? Conflict, desire, betrayal, family ties, all tangled up. And looking across them, the husband with the wife, cousin, and the mistress.
The biological and adopted siblings.
The uncle, aunt, and niece. You do see some common threads, even in the different details.
Like the incredible pain caused by infidelity, that's everywhere.
Absolutely. And the intense family conflict.
Yeah.
Just tearing people and relationships apart.
And just the complexity of it all. These aren't simple situations. They really push against, standard norms or expectations about relationships.
And the clips offered that final kind of commentary, didn't they? That maybe cheating wasn't always just about sex or finding new love.
Right. It suggested sometimes it was used like a weapon or as revenge.
Yeah, and the argument seemed to be that for relationships like marriages to actually survive these huge crises, the problems have to be sorted out inside the relationship.
With both people really committed to fixing that relationship.
Exactly. And the feeling from the clips was that these particular couples probably wouldn't make it because that core internal commitment just wasn't there anymore. It had been destroyed by, looking outside, bringing other people in.
So that leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener, something to maybe chew on after diving into these really challenging clips with us.
Given the kind of extreme pain we saw, the intense fights, the sheer, mind-bending complexity in some of these situations,
how realistic is it, really, to always expect people to work things out within that existing relationship?
yeah, what things, internal or external, make that kind of commitment maybe incredibly difficult or perhaps even impossible when things get this broken? What would it truly take to find that internal resolution in circumstances like these?
Something to think about after exploring these pretty raw glimpses into relationship chaos provided by the source material.